We have all kinds of headlines right now. We see in newspapers locally and globally headlines that speak about death, about murder, about sickness, about devastation, and about all kinds of horrible things that make us get depressed. Cindy Jacobs says that the headlines in your country, the headlines in your city speak about or reveal how prayer is in that particular area. So I have a question for you. What do the headlines in your country, in your city, are saying today? But most importantly, what does the headline of your life is saying about you? Welcome to Living the World, the place where we take the Word of God into our daily living. There's a question that we have heard all around all the time that says, what will the epitaph of your life say? But you know, your life is made of days. You live one day at a time, and the decisions that you make every single day will make up your future, will make up your destiny, will determine your destiny, will determine the way you die and the legacy that you leave behind you. So, what will the headlines of your daily life say? You know, prayer can change a destiny. Prayer can change your life. Prayer can change the result and the outcome of things. You know, Jeremiah 29:11 says something very interesting. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. God has plans to give you a hope and a future. Now, number one, God has plans for good. God has plans to give you hope and a future. That is, God has plans. So the headlines of your life speak of abundance, speak of happiness, speak of provision and all kinds of good things. He does not have plans for your life to speak about death, to speak about devastation, to speak about poverty, to speak about frustration, to speak about anything wrong, anything bad. Number two, pay attention to this. God has plans for you. Listen, God has plans for you. But the question is, how can I know the plans that God has for me, right? Psalm 139:16 says, Your eyes saw my infirmed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Now here we see something very interesting. God has plans, and God has books, and God has written in those books His plans for you. He has written in those books that He has about your life. Headlines of life, headlines of joy, headlines of abundance, headlines of success. But here's the question again. How can I know the plans that God has for me? Because 99% of people will agree with me in this. Your life has not turned out as you planned. You had so many plans for your lives and so many ideas and so many things prepared for your life, you yourself. And almost none of them has become real. No. Why? Because, you know, our plans can be good, but His plans are better. You see, my life is totally different than what I had planned. I had planned for my life, I had planned to become a graphic designer. I had planned to become this and that, to do this and that. And my life turned out to be very different than what I planned for. But you know, I exchanged my plans for His plans, and His plans are way better. Here's the question again. How can I know the plans that God has for me? When you discover the plans that God has for you, you will want to live those plans. You will forget about your own plans because you will see that your plans were not good at all and His plans are better. But then I have another question. How can you establish the plans of God in your life? Okay, so I'm gonna turn it around. Why do you not know what plans God has for you? What are the plans that God has for you? Why don't you know? You should know, right? Prayer is this conversation that will allow you to discover the plans God has for you. You know, when you start a life of prayer, when you start praying, it is normal and it is actually right. God invites you to do that, to present God with your needs, to present God with all your problems and your worries and your needs, and it's okay. Because God invites you to give Him all that. You see, God says in Philippians 4:6, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. So here's an invitation that God makes to present Him with our needs, with our petitions. But then the verse continues to say, and God will hear you and He will fill you with a peace that transcends all understanding. That is, maybe when you present God with your needs, when you present God with your petitions, maybe things are going apparently to keep the same way. They're going to be the same way. They're going to work the same way. Maybe your family will be the same. But what God promises is that He hears you and He will answer, but He will guard your thoughts. He will guard your hearts with a peace that surpasses all understanding. Why? It's a peace that's not coherent sometimes, because the problem is still there. How come I can have peace? But He will guard your heart with peace. Now, He keeps on saying, in Jeremiah, He says that when you pray, Jeremiah 29, He says that when you pray with all your heart, He hears you. When you come to Him and you pray to Him and you pray with all your heart, He hears you. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. So here we see that God invites us to come to Him, to pray to Him, to present Him with all our needs. And He will answer, He will respond. But then we see in Jeremiah 33:3, call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Here we have the same invitation to go to Him, to pray to Him, to present Him with our needs, with our problems, with all those things that we're going through. But He says here that when we go to Him and pray to Him, He will reveal to us unsearchable things. He will reveal to us the unsearchable great things that we do not know. That is, He will show us, He wants to show us and to reveal to us His plans, His solutions, the next step that we have to make for the solution of that problem we are presenting Him with. And this is a more profound step in prayer. Because when we are not used to praying, where our prayer life is not very mature, we come to Him with a monologue. We present Him with all our needs, our requests, our problems, the things that we're going through. And we say amen, we close the door, and we leave. But here He is inviting us to wait for Him to respond. Normally, when we call someone on the phone, we don't just speak and speak and speak. We have to wait. We have to keep silent, to wait for the other person to speak. We are not seeing that person, but we know that they are going to give us an answer. They are going to reply to what we are saying, right? This is a conversation. It is a conversation, just as when we speak someone in front of someone face to face. We are speaking on the phone, we don't see that person, but we know that that person has to answer, has something to say. Well, God has something to say as well. And He says, come to me with your requests, come to me with your prayers, but then wait for me to respond. This is a more profound, deep prayer. So, in that exchange of ideas is that he reveals to us his plans. But we need to learn to listen to him, and we need to wait for him to respond. Doesn't matter how long it takes, there's always an answer. God always has an answer, and he wants to reveal in that those unsearchable things, those marvelous things that he wants to reveal to us are the plans that he has for each and every situation of our lives, for each problem, for each day. He wants to tell you, to reveal to you the headline that he has planned for your life today and every single day. Obviously, maybe he will not reveal the plans, the headlines that he has for you for the next 30 days. He wants you to come to him every single day and ask him, what is the headline that you want to be written about me today? So in the next chapter, we're going to see how can we know the headlines, the plans that God has for us, and all is through prayer. I hope that this video was a blessing to you, and the next part 2 of this video is going to be very interesting, and I hope you liked it. If you liked this video, if it was a blessing to you, please click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and you can follow me on Instagram at Danae Gabriela Sanchez. I'm going to write it down here, and you can follow me to be encouraged, to be uplifted. And thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.